This is Chris Byrd, former two-time heavyweight champion.
He is the pride of Clinton, Michigan, the heavyweight no one wants to face, Chris Byrd.
I am Chris Byrd. This is the Bird's Eye View. I'm here with the great boxing promoter in his office, where you see all the pictures, Dan Goossen. How you doing, Mr. Goossen?
Chris, there was no better title that you could have come up with than the Bird's Eye View. That was
That's great, isn't it?
That was great.
Pretty clever, huh?
And if you look at our business cards, our logo, you'll notice it's a black eye. That's our logo. So I mean, what the heck? I tied it right into your show.
Yeah, I'm a black guy, black eye. See, that's where you get the blackness of the eye.
See, now there you go.
That's what it is.
Now you're making me feel bad because I didn't say it was a green eye. Okay? You know, they always said. When I was growing up, and I'm sure it was the same with you, because we're about the same age, right?
Yeah.
40, 38?
Yeah, I think a couple years of difference.
There was a day that I used to be like that. It's crazy, but when I was growing up, if someone had a black eye, you know, it was kind of a badge of honor. You know, so you always said, hey, that guy was kind of tough, even though I know the old saying is, what did the other guy look like? You know, but. You know, having a black eye, I didn't want boxing gloves or the ring as part of our logo. I just felt a black eye was a badge of honor, and that was going to be our logo.
Yeah, that's smart. You know, like in this 2013, I think the badge of honor for most guys now is a bullet wound. You get shot by a bullet.
And you know, it is crazy stuff because. You know, what we saw the other night, the Tim Bradley, Ruslan fight, I mean, that's a badge of honor, what they wore on their face. I mean, you know, all the props in the world go out. It's one of the greatest fights I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And as you know, we've seen a lot of fights throughout our years.
Oh, that was a great fight.
Yeah.
But I want to know, I know a lot of fans will know, you're the great boxing promoter. How did you get your start into the business of boxing?
Well, first off, it's hard for me to accept that I'm a great anything. I just think I'm a promoter and go out there. And I try to just make things work for our fighters because it is such a badass business. I mean, what the fighters have to endure, and you know, I've always kind of conveyed to the fighters that. The enjoyable part, ironically, is the fight itself because you get to go out there and you at least get paid and have fans hopefully cheering for you and you're on TV. The hard part, where the fans never understand what goes into a fighter's training is that day in and day in sparring. Okay, that's where the wear and tear come in, and I just have so much respect for the fighters that can do that religiously. But, I grew up in a family of 10 kids, 8 of them boys, including myself. And my dad was an LAPD cop, pretty tough in his own right. And he dabbled in the boxing business when he was on the force. He would help out certain fighters, not necessarily manage them, but work with them. And as we were growing up as young kids, he would push the furniture out of the front room area and put the gloves on the kids. He'd line us all up, and once anyone got the better of the other one, he would call it quits and say, "Okay, next group in."
Wow.
So he just.
You had enough kids there to fight.
Yeah. He wanted to just teach us.
You had 2 basketball teams, really.
He wanted to teach us how to protect ourselves. Okay. Yeah. Because as you know, what we just discussed in those days, it was about fighting. It wasn't bullets, it wasn't knives or anything. So in case there were any hassles, we could at least protect ourselves. He never wanted us to be bullies. So that's where it was kind of ingrained as kids with us. And then as I got older, my brother Pat became a professional fighter, and my brother Greg played baseball for the Dodgers and Mets, but during the off season they didn't get paid enough in those days where they could just relax during the off season. So he'd come back and he actually fought as an amateur. So
wait, he played professional baseball?
Yeah, but he was a hell of a fighter, and he used it a few times sliding in the second. But and then my brother Joe was an amateur. My brother Larry was an amateur. So it was always there. But I really didn't get into the business until Randy Shields. Towards the latter part of Randy Shields' career, back in the late '70s. His dad wanted me to help him out a little on the business side, in the boxing business.
And that pushed you into seeing Randy, and then push you into promoting.
But what happened is that I helped his dad Sonny, and while I was doing that, I was in Chicago back in the late '70s. And Joe was working Randy's corner for a fight against Pepino Cuevas, and across the street there was a nightclub called Dean Bats. So after the training session and all that, we put Randy to bed, and we went across the street to get a drink. We were old enough at the time, and we ended up having a tough time getting inside the club, but we finally got inside of it. And after I put up a little stink because they wouldn't let us in, and the head bouncer was a guy named Lawrence Tiro, and we ended up becoming good friends with him. He ended up being head of security the week that we were in Chicago. Lawrence Tiro was Mr. T. So T and I became good friends, and I really didn't get into the boxing business at that point. What I did was I started managing Mr. T's career at that point. So I managed Mr. T for a few years. And,
now, was he always big with the mohawk? Was he always had the mohawk?
No, he didn't have the mohawk at that time. He was bald at the time, but he was Mr. T. Yeah. Okay.
And he wear on a chain?
No, he wasn't there yet. You looked in his closet, he would have 50 suits. So, okay, and he at the end of the trip, after 7 days, and we, hung out every day, he said he wanted me to manage him. I said, "You want me to manage you?" And I said, "What do you do?" He goes, "I don't know, but I'm going to be famous." Okay. And I said, "You know what, brother? I believe you. You've got something." And he did have something. I mean, we'd be sitting there at night, and he'd be talking, and you're going, "Wow, this guy's good," So I got.
What is he talking about, though?
It didn't matter. Okay, that was the great thing about Mr. T. I mean, he was always
good.
He was just good there talking. You could just sit there going, "Wow," But I got him some interviews and radio things, and then we got on this show called the Toughest Bouncer Competition, which was on NBC. Brian Gumbel was the host of it. And that's where Stallone happened to see T in this show, and it's where Rocky III happened, and the rest is history.
Wow.
Yeah. So after that, some crap happened, and I said, "Well, damn it, what am I going to do right now?" And I said, what business I'm going to go and do? And this was 1981, I think. Yeah, 1981, 1982. I said, damn it, I know the boxing business, and there's only two guys running it. I mean,
who's the two?
You know who?
Okay.
Aram and King. So I said, yeah, let's do that.
So you put your head in the pot with Aram and King.
Put my head, and it was good. One of our first big signings was in 1984. As a matter of fact, the two biggest fighters out of that time. Do you remember who it is, Chris? Who the
84?
84. Who were
after 8? Was it an amateur?
It was amateur. He was an Olympic alternate along
Michael Nunn.
Michael Nunn. And who was the other famous Olympic alternate that year?
Wait.
Come on.
Wait, it's
your division.
160. Wait.
No, your division as a pro.
It's heavyweight.
He lost to Henry Tillman.
Oh, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, okay. And he and Nunn and Tyson were the two biggest guys going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, because everybody compared me. Michael Nunn was my guy.
Yeah.
So they would say I fought like Michael Nunn.
Yeah.
So you had Michael Nunn. So you work with Mike too?
Yeah, well, I did later on. Okay, when back in 1996, we signed Mike to a 5-fight contract. Yeah.
Wow.